Hey guys, what's going on? Roberto Michelle here. I am making this short video. I hope it's short. Specifically for Facebook, for my Facebook viewers, and I specifically want to talk about Ramadan 2018, and I'll give you a preface just before I start getting into details. I am not Muslim. I am not an expert in Ramadan. I am not an expert in religion. I'm just a free man working out here, learning as much as I can from cultures, religion, as much as I can. That's all I'm doing. So don't come under my comment saying, oh, how come you a Christian and you fast for Ramadan? Listen, I do whatever I feel like doing, especially with my life and my spirituality. And I feel like it's for the best. And I don't mean to be rude. I don't mean to be harsh as far as my words go. But yes, I did fast for 30 days for Ramadan 2018. And no, I am not Muslim. I do not know much about Islam. And I was born a Christian. As you can hear from my speech, I'm from Haiti. So I was born a Catholic. My aunt is Methodist. I have another aunt that's Baptist, and my grandmother is Protestant. And as Haiti, I'm from Jeremy, South Haiti. Voodoo was everywhere. So in my neighborhood, it's not foreign to hear the drum or to hear people or to see people serving law. So technically, I'm from a gumbo, a bouillon of religious belief. And it's always been a pleasure for me to be from a perspective where I can see and understand religion from a perspective that's kind of like outside the box, not just from my own perspective. Oh, let's not forget also, when I turned 13, I became a Seventh-day Adventist. So as far as religious perspective, I have a pretty good view of what the world is all about. But my spirituality to me is what's important, not in the colors of religion. I always try to study that as much as I can. And I study many other religion that I would rather not mention in these videos, just for, to stay away from kind of like arguing with people. So technically what I've done, I try to learn the basic of Ramadan. I do not have a teacher or friend that's close to me that I can ask questions, but I was lucky enough to find a couple people, which I don't know if it's cool to mention their names, that helped me out. They are Muslim. They help guide me through this journey. Between me and you, I started a day earlier because I didn't know exactly how to do it. But somebody, geared me towards an app called Muslim Pro, and then that's when I find out it starts the next day. But I already fasted the day before, so it doesn't matter. I did it for 31 days and counting. And my experience was excellent. And what I mean by excellent, I own a Quran for 10 years, by the way. I never read it. Do not ask me why. I just never read it because I feel like I need some kind of guidance, somebody who's aware, somebody who's in the know to help me navigate towards it. And I didn't want to just read it like it was just like, reading Road Less Travel or 48 Laws of Power or something like that. Nothing is wrong with these books, but it was just like, I feel like it's a religious book. I should give it some kind of spiritual thought before I dive into it. So my experience, Ramadan 2018, first day was hell. It wasn't even about the food. It was about the thirst. It was about not being able to drink. Well, you are able to drink, but refraining or staying away from drinking any type of liquid. Okay, I did that. So first day was like hell. I wanted to break. I wanted to drink, but I told myself, you know what? If there's about 1 billion and a half people doing it throughout the world, am I that weak that I can't stay without food or drink for one day? I'm going to continue. So, okay, day 2, same experience. It's kind of like a copy of day 3. I would say the first week was like copies of each other. But the second week, it starts to get easier, where it gets to the point where my mind is not thinking about food, where I would wake up in the morning. Certain days I'll forget to wake up, and by the time I wake up, the sun's already up, and I was like, oh man, I didn't eat this morning, and therefore I just stay hungry. I fasted the whole day. And with the Muslim Pro, for the Muslim out there that are familiar with it, it kind of like send you a reminder of all the time that you have to pray throughout the day. I work, so therefore I did my extreme best to follow that pattern of prayer. And I also had a specific reason why I was praying for Ramadan. And I'd rather not share that also. But it's all for growth in many different ways, in spiritual ways. And, you know, as a man, as a family man, I wanted to experience that. And the reason I pray, I did that, my prayers, I'm not going to tell you the reason exactly why I pray, but it's for growth. It's just for me to grow into a more disciplined person, for me not to give you more details, a more fruitful person, not as far as having kids, but as far as however you want to think about it, knowledgeable, material, spiritual. I want to grow, and I feel like fasting help you with that. And when you have a second to pray and meditate specifically for those reasons, I feel like you can you can find what you're looking for. And a lot of you probably asking yourself, how did I pray? Well, you're not Muslim. You haven't been trained. You have not been initiated. What did you pray? You know, my wife asked me, did you say in Jesus' name? Like, how? Brother, I prayed the way I was taught how to pray. My grandmother taught us how to pray when we were younger. And our prayer was a simple prayer. It was just like our Father prayer, but in a more simple way. It's kind of like, you know, keep watching over us throughout the day and help us forgive the people that have done wrong, you know, towards us, and help them forgive us if we've done something towards them, and make sure we have a beautiful day, a fruitful day, in Jesus' name, of course. So that's my prayer, to answer those questions for people who are either Christian or Muslim, or for any other walk of life that's trying to understand what I'm talking about. And so that was how I pray, because I have not been initiated as a Muslim. Neither was that my primary interest. My main interest for doing it was, of course, I always wanted to fast for 30 days. And then I told myself, if there are 100 million people, 1.5 billion Muslim around the world, let's just say half of them or 3/4 are fasting, that means I have some kind of mental support, knowing at that specific time I'm not the only person going through that hunger, going through that thirst. And I also grow to understand what it means when somebody's hungry, what it means when somebody's thirsty. And part of fasting during Ramadan is you're supposed to do charity work. So technically, I didn't do like a big bang, like a fundraising or something, but I would carry a few dollars in my pocket if I have it. And then if I see somebody who's begging or who's in need of food or something, I would make sure I was there for that person. Because imagine if you were in the streets for whatever reason, whether you're sick, whether you're on drugs, whether you lost family members, whether it's a hurricane, for whatever reason. We're not here to judge why people end up on the streets. You would have loved for somebody to come to your rescue some kind of way. Big way, if you have money like Oprah, you want to buy this person a house, okay, you're no longer homeless, fine. Small way, I have 50 cents, I have a quarter, that's what I can basically share with you. Well, that's what I got. But technically, you in tune at that moment. You keep those people in mind. You sharing their pain with them by sacrificing yourself in fasting and prayer, and also share with them whatever physically you may have. And at the same times, I was trying to do my extreme best to stay away from arguments. If you have a wife that's not Muslim, most likely sometimes, you'll end up in some type of argument, and it takes a lot of energy. Of course, I was trying to explain that I'm fasting. This is not the time for this, but blase, blase, blah. The first couple times we got into an argument, so that didn't work, like I planned it. But technically, as the day goes by, she started to be a little bit more supportive and understanding that, this is something I'm doing. This is not a religious thing. This is a man trying to figure himself out. This is a man trying to dig deeper into his spiritual life. So this has nothing to do with a religion or with a lifestyle or with a culture or whatever. Although this is what it is. Although, yeah, it is a Muslim thing. Okay, but if you dig to any faith, you will find there is a certain aspect that has to do with fasting, with staying away from certain things during a certain times. If you're Christian, Jesus fasts for 40 days. Everybody from different religions have a specific fasting period where they do it. But I've never had a chance to do it with a group of people, which is why I do it. So my experience, what I have learned to be very patient. If somebody is loud with you, or if you're driving, somebody cuts you off, your first reaction is to, that I kind of mastered that on the second week, where I'm really calm and very patient and in a praying mode, I would say, to the point where I would see and understand things before it happens, because I'm in a spiritual space. I'm in a clean space where I'm just contemplating things instead of things happening to me or bombarding me. That's my personal experience. And as far as food, I lost some weight. I haven't jumped on the scale yet. I'm not gonna tell you guys my weight. Y'all gonna call me fat. But I was, my face was puffy, grease on my face. And as you can see now, I'm still pretty. You know what I'm saying? It's working out. I lost some weight in my face, around certain parts of my body. I lost some weight. Of course, your stomach will shrink when you try to eat the amount of food you used to eat before you started fasting. It's going to be a struggle, because the whole point is for you to restart your body and to restart your life. And I feel like I have accomplished that. So technically, I learned charity, I learned patience, empathy, to feel for others, whether it's in a positive or in a negative way. If you see somebody going through something, if somebody's celebrating, I can feel your celebration. You just have a baby, you proud, you graduate, and congratulations, you getting married. Like, I can share that moment with you. Same thing. Somebody die in your family, you sick, somebody's hospital, you just got hit by a car, I can share that experience with you. So empathy, I picked up a lot from that experience. And what else? And as far as me guarding my mind, that I wasn't too successful at it, because technically you're supposed to stay away from certain type of music, or as a human period, you're supposed to guard your mind, because that's the greatest gift that you have. You're not supposed to let negativity bombard your mind from at any given time. But Ramadan is supposed to be that time where you pay attention to what you're feeding your mind, what you're reading, okay, what kind of music you listen to, what kind of magazine you're reading, what kind of information is going through your mind. You're supposed to pay heavy attention to that. I wasn't really too successful, because I work, I let people pick whatever they songs they want to play, so I listen to the radio, those informations. Of course, I wasn't too successful at that, but I did try. And to me, I'm not gonna go out there, sit on top of the mountain and tell everybody, hey, go out there and try Ramadan. This is for me. This is for me. If this is for you, I'm sure you will find your own calling to do what you need to do as far as your spiritual life go. But as far as for me, it was a very good experience. And not to throw race in there, I've been to a mosque once in my life. It wasn't even a black mosque, but of course there was black people in there worshiping, praying, and the way of dressing. As you can see, I got my kurta on. A lot of people think this is the Muslim garb, but you know, this is, I actually got this from India. So this is a kurta from India. Although it looks the same, it's long down to my knees. I like to dress like that anyway. It has nothing to do with my culture, my religion. I just like stuff like that. I feel like as a man that's searching for purity or for some kind of wisdom, you're supposed to dress certain ways. That's not like the regular Vic. When people see you, they're supposed to be like, okay, this is a dignified person. You know, and you might see me on the gram or on Facebook joking, you know, doing skit comedy, joking, but I take my side of that life. I take it extreme. If you know me, if you close to me, I'm not talking about Facebook friends, Instagram friends, you would know that I take that extremely serious. I pay very close attention to my spiritual life, and I do my extreme best every day to be a better version of myself, a better man than I was yesterday, in every single way, shape, or form. That's not bragging. That's just saying, okay, this is how I dedicate my life. This is what I choose to do. This is me saying, okay, the man that I was yesterday, if I wake up the next day, I have to be a better version. I have to learn something yesterday that I didn't know yesterday, whether it's by reading a book, whether it's by listening to, watching a YouTube video, or whether it's by talking to somebody who's more knowledgeable, more wise than me. As you know, I don't hang around people who's not wise. Sorry to all my friends out there, the people we haven't, you know, that I haven't spoken to in a minute. I'm doing my thing. You know what I'm saying? Like if at certain points you're not helping me grow, you're not helping me get into where I want to be, we're not hanging out. And I feel like the Ramadan is going to kind of continue, although I am going to eat. I'm going to eat. I promise you, I am going to eat. Okay? And but as far as the discipline, I feel like I'm going to keep a certain aspect of it. And as they say, the Prophet used to fast every Mondays and Thursdays. I don't know if I can start that yet, but I promise you, every Monday, I am going to fast. And I find pleasure in that. I find some kind of bliss that you can't find in drinking and smoking, and it's more a preparation for a longer lasting life. And I didn't plan to make the video that long, but I wanted to talk about my experience, my personal experience. I hope everybody who fasted around the world had a great fast. I'm sure you guys face your own specific challenge. Shout out to the people who are sick or who are pregnant or who are not old enough to actually fast. Hopefully you get healthy and then you can make it happen. And shout out to everybody who fasted. Thank you for holding me down. Because of you, because of me psychologically thinking that you doing it tells me that I can do it too. So will I do it again? Yes. I'm actually looking forward to do it again. Will I become a Muslim? I don't know. I don't know. I love it. I love everything about it. I like the way the dress code. I like the discipline. Understand, nobody's going to be perfect. Whether you're Christian or a Muslim, you're always going to find somebody in that specific religion that don't necessarily follow all the rules, and then that give everybody else a bad name or a bad rap. Whatever, wherever you go, there's going to be one of you that's going to make everybody think, whoa, they are just like that. So therefore, me fasting in 2018 and being able to travel and see Muslim all over the world lets me know that not all Muslim take it as seriously as certain other Muslim. But I've seen people who's very devout and take it very seriously. And I hope this video can help somebody like me who grew up or who wants to fast or who wants to know or who can relate. Hopefully that works out for you. Peace. God bless.